Good morning, everyone. In software architecture, today we are going to learn about the documenting software architectures. Already we have studied the requirements and design. Now we are going to study the documentation. Here we are going to learn about the uses and the audiences for the documentation. What are the different notations has to be used for the documentation? What are the different types of views? How are you going to choose a particular view? How can you combine a view in case if it is going to be combined with two or three? And how can you create a documentation package? And what is the behavior and the quality attributes? And how you can change if there is any changes in it? And what is the documentation architecture for agile development project? These are the things we are going to study today. First one is, what is a documentation? You know what is documentation already. If you're going to do a project, you need to have the documentation, which is nothing but, see, if you're going to buy a product, it is going to have some kinds of users manual, no? The same way, for the software, we are going to prepare a user manual that is called as a documentation. It is going to tell about the best, it is going to tell about how the software has been built, what is the procedure. Okay, so this best architecture will be useless if the people who need it don't know what it is. Means there is a architecture, if it is not the proper one, it will not be useful, it will be the useless, right? So all of the effort, analysis, hard work and design of that architecture will be wasted if it is not done properly. So who are the users, audience for the documentation? So the documentation must be transparent and accessible quickly for the new employees. And it should be concrete and it should serve a blueprint for the construction. It should have enough information to serve as basis of our analysis. And this documentation should be both prescriptive and descriptive. And for some of the audience, it should tell for what should be true and what it should do. And for the other audience, it doesn't, it means it describes what is true and what are the decisions has to be done, that should be recounting it. And understanding the stakeholder use of architecture documentation is essential, which is telling about the people who is going to understand the software need this documentation, that is essential. And this determine the information which is going to be captured. What are the uses of the architecture documentation? There are three uses. Education, and it is going to be the primary vehicle for the stakeholders, and it is the basis for system analysis and construction. Education is nothing but it is going to tell the details of the software to the members of the team, and analysis and evaluators, and it is the new architect. Primary vehicle for the communication among stakeholders, telling about it is the important thing for the developers, and it is very important for the future architect. And it is the basis of system analysis and construction. It is telling about what should be implemented and what should be re-acceptable and registering for communicating for the resolved issues, and it is the basis for the architecture evaluation. So these are the things, these are the three uses of the architecture documentation. What are the different notations are used? Three different notations are used: informal notations, semi-formal notations, formal notations. What is informal notation? It is going to be depicted as a graphical form, general purpose diagramming and editing tools. By using that, it is going to be specified. The semantics and description of the natural language is going to be implemented there. It cannot be formally analyzed. That is why it is called as informal notation. Semi-formal notation, some standardized notations prescribing the graphical elements and rule of the constructions will be there, and lacks of complete semantic treatment of the meaning of to those elements, and rudimentary analysis has to be applied, and it is using any one of the UML semi-formal notation in this particular case. What is formal notation? Views are described by using the notations, either it can be a mathematical or a semantic notations. And formal analysis for both syntax and semantics is possible. And it is specifying ADL, that is architecture description language, and it support automation through the associated tools. These are the three different notations are used. How can you choose a notation? First one is the trade-off. Trade-off is telling about formal notations which take more time and effort to create and understand that particular ambiguity and opportunities of the analysis. Conversely, in formal notations it is easier to create, but they provide fewer guarantees. Different notations are better for expressing different kinds of information. So UML class diagram will help you to reason out the schedulability, and it will require to characterize what is going to be done in the system and what is going to be delivered on that particular time. Choosing a particular notation and representing the language is telling about what should be captured and how it should be reasoned about. Views. Views are providing the architecture, and it is a number of interesting and manageable representation of the system. So principle of architecture documentation, how it should be done. So it is a matter of documenting the relevant views and adding the documentation that applies to more than one view. What is a view? Different views support different goals and uses. We do not advocate a particular view or a collaboration of views. Different views are available. We will not allow only one view or a collection of views. So this will be documenting based on the uses and expect to make of the documentation. Each view has a host and a benefit, cost and a benefit, and it should ensure the benefits and maintaining the view outweigh the cost. Next, overview of module views. Different types of elements are there. So here modules are the basic element which are implementing the units of software and provide the coherent of set of responsibilities. Different types of relations are there. Is a part of, depends on, is part of, it is telling about part or whole relationship between the submodules. Depends on defines the dependency relationship between the modules. Is a defines the generalization and specialization relationship between more and specific modules. Constraints. Constraints, the conditions. So different types of topological conditions such as limitations and visibility between the modules. Usage. It gives the blueprint for the construction of the code. Change impact analysis are there. Planning the incremental development should be there. Requirements traceability analysis should be there. Communicating the functionality of the system and structure of its code is the base. Supporting the definition of work insights, implementation schedules, and budget information. Showing the structure information that the system needs to be managed. Next one is the module view. So before that we have seen the overview of module views. Here we need to have the constraints and the usage. Here we are going to see the module views. It is likely the documentation of any software architecture can be complete without at least one module view. So overview of complete and components and construction views. Here the elements are the components. Components are the principal processing units of the data. So this has a ports through it. It is going to be connected with other components. Connectors. It is a pathway of interaction between the components. So connectors have a roles and it indicates how the components may use the connector in interactions. So this is elements. Next one is the relations. Here it is telling about the attachments. Component port are associated with connector roles to yield a graph of component and connectors. Interface delegation. It's in some situations component parts are associated with one or more parts internal subarchitecture. The case is similar for the roles of a connector. Next one is the overview. Constraints means already we have told you that it can be attached to the connectors not directly with the other components. Components only attached to components not directly to the other connectors. Attachments can only made between the compatible parts. Interface will be the between the components. Okay, so components cannot appear isolation, so it can attach to the component. Usage, so it can be telling about how the system works. It will be the guide development by specifying the structure, and it helps the reason to runtime quality attributes such as performance and availability. So these components are good match for the component and connectors components. So here we are having the database. Here we are having the this is the account database. This is going to be the server who is going to maintain by the admin, and they will be providing the structure to this repository. Notations for component connector views. We are using different kinds of notations, so it is not rich enough to represent only with component connector structure. So we are having substructure, attributes and behavioral descriptions. So it represents a simple connector using the UML connector line. So it is mainly connector roles cannot explicitly represented with the UML connector. So it does not allow inclusion and of interfaces. So this label will be used to identify the description must documented elsewhere. So it represents a rich component connector using the UML component by annotating a line UML connector with a tag, and it explains the meaning of the complex connector. Next one is the overview of the allocation views. So before that we have seen component and construction views. Now we are going to see the allocation view. Component and connector structure view. Now we are going to see the allocation view. Allocation view is telling about element and environmental element. This element has the properties which is required for the environment. So the environment element has the properties that are provided to the software. Allocated to a software element is mapped to an environmental element. Properties are dependent on the particular view. Constraints. So overview of the allocation view. Here varies by the view. According to the view, the constraints will be different. Usage will be reasoning about the performance, availability, security and the safety, and it will be reasoning about the distributed development allocation, reasoning about the concurrent access and the form and mechanism of the system installation. Quality view can be tailored for a specific stakeholders to the address specific concerns, and this will be formed by extracting the relevant views of structural views and the packaging them together. Next one is the quality view. Examples: quality view can be security view, communications view. Security view is telling about the responsible repositories informations are having the security role responsibility relationship, and this will the views context information view show the security measures in the system environment. The behaviors part of a security view will show where and how the human should interact with the security elements, and it capture how the system should respond. Communications view. Especially this will be helpful for the system globally dispersed, and for the heterogeneous systems this communication will be helpful. This will show component and connector channels and various network channels, quality of service parameter and areas of concurrency. It is used to analyze certain kinds of performance and reliability. The behavior part of this view is an example how network bandwidth is dynamically allocated. Quality views. So we have seen component and connector view, allocation view. Now we are going to see the quality view. Examples: exception or error handling view, reliability view, performance view. Exception on error handling view will be telling about responding about, it is telling about the error reporting and resolution mechanisms. If a particular error is not going to be identified, or if it is identified, why it should be thrown out, how it should be responded, and it should show the detect and report resolve faults or errors, and it will help the resources errors and appropriate corrective actions for each. Reliability view. It models the mechanisms such as replication and switchover, and it depicts the timing and transaction integrity. It shows the aspects of the architecture and how it is useful for the system performance. And it should show the network traffic models and latencies of these operations. Choosing the view. How can you choose a view? It is based on the way the software it is going to be created and how much detail it is going to be, and what are the peoples and what kind of skills peoples are going to use this, and what are the standards it should have, what is the budget, and what is the schedule, and the information which is needed for the stakeholders, and what are the deriving quality attribute requirements, and what the approximation size of the system. So according to that, the view has to be chosen by using minimum, and expect to have at least one module view and component and connector view for the largest system, and at least one allocation view in the architecture document. Method for choosing the views. How can you choose the view? Different types of methods can be used, that is going to be used in the step by step. First step is the build a stakeholder view table, which is telling about it should have rows and columns, which in rows it should be listed out the stakeholders of the project architecture. In the columns it has to enumerate the views which is applied on the system. We have discussed all these things in the first chapter itself. So it includes the views and view sketches. Okay. Some of the views such as decomposition and work assignment has to be applied to every system, while other systems will not apply for some systems. Okay. Fill in each cell, describe how much information and stakeholders required and how it is going to be moderate or high detail. Next one is the combine views to reduce their number. So if you are going to use two or more views, allocation view, component view, quality view, like that, it is going to be combined means how can you combine it? So it for the marginal views in the tables, it requires only overview so that it can serve very few stakeholders. It can combine each marginal view with another view, has a stronger constituency. These views often combine naturally. So various component and connector views are there. Because of these views shows runtime relations among component and connectors, various types, they tend to combine view. So deployment view with software quality is software architecture communication process. So this view having the communicating process with various source processes. Decomposition view. So it can be any work or assignment implementation is used, or layered views. So it can be decomposed. Next, prioritize and use. First step is the stakeholder view. Second was the combining the view to reduce the number of views. Third is the prioritize and stage. So prioritize means there could be many kind of views, which view has to be done first. That is only decomposition first. Then high level decomposition are not often easy to design. So the project manager has to start with the staff development teams, training, and the process. So if the user is not satisfied, the documentation of all the stakeholders has to extend their work, providing 80% of the information goes is good enough for the stakeholders, and check whether the stakeholder is a subset and it doesn't complete one view before starting the another. People can make progress with overview level information. A breadth first approach is the best. building the documentation package. So it consists of views and documentation beyond the views. Okay. So this documentation view is the primary representation and it provides lot of details and it should have the diagram which is going to tell about the notations and it should be the graphical diagram and it has the some kinds of mistakes means how it has to be corrected. So this has to be textual or it can have a table also. So it is presented according to the systolic rules and based on the incorporated reference. Documenting a view. Here element catalog. This catalog is having the detail about the primary presentation. For example, this diagram shows the elements and the ABC is telling about the element catalog and all the elements will have the relevant informations where primary representation should be introduced explained in the catalog. Parts of the catalog. Element and their properties. This section name of the each element views is required and elements of their properties. Each view will have a specific relation. Element interface is telling about the element interfaces. Element behavior is telling about the how it is going to work with other elements. Section 3 should have a context diagram which show how the portion of the system is depicted and the purpose is to scope of the view, tell the system of the view. And the entities and environments may be humans or other computer systems and it can have physical objects. Next, section 4 is the variability guide. So this variability guide shows how the system will vary at the points. Section 5 rationally it explains why the way design explain why the system design and how it should be useful. So the goal is to explain why the system is to design what is the use of it. So this is the template. This is the view of the template. This is the primary representation. This is the element catalog. This is the context diagram. So variability guide rationally. So documenting information beyond the views. So all these informations has to be listed out and it should provide the current version number, date and the history and the procedure usually captured in a front matter. Next is section 1 documentation roadmap. So this tells the reader what information is the documentation and where to find it. So this documentation should have show scope and summary, how the documentation should be organized, what is the view and view overview and how the stakeholders use the documentation. Section 2 will have the how a view is documented and system overview of the documentation. So here it is telling about the document views. System overview will have the overview functions, system functions and the users, consistent mental model and it is telling about the project concept of operations. Next, mapping between the views. So helping the reader understand the association between the views and the association between the elements, viewer view to view associations can be captured. So it is implemented by mapping component and connector view and component and connector view implements mapping of module and it is having the included relationship for the mapping from decomposition view. Next one is the rationally. It documents the architectural decisions that apply more than one view. Section 6 which is telling about the directory, what are the index and what is the glossary and what are the acronym list. So documenting behavior, here it is telling about how the documentation is going to behave with the errors or if there is any deadlock, how it is going to behave, yeah, whether it is going to complete describe the complete amount of time and what is the maximum memory consumption, everything is going to be given. What are the different types of notations? Traces are telling the activities which is going to be combined to the next one and it describes the particular sequence of activities And different types of examples: use cases, sequence diagrams, communication diagrams, activity diagrams, message sequence charts, timing diagrams, business process execution language. Many different types of diagrams are there. We can use any one of the notation. This is the use case diagram. If you are taking this project, a teleproject, there is a caller who is going to make a call. Here the callee is going to attend it. In case if there is a mobile person, the mobile callee is going to attend it. So this caller can have these kinds of components. Either they can make a basic call or make a three-way call, or it can be a conference call, or he can add a contact, or he could send a SMS. So this is the formal notations. The round is representing the use case. This system is telling about the actor. The hyphen is telling about the association. The arrow mark is telling about the generalization. And this process is telling about the boundary. So this is the description. What is the description? They are going to make a basic call. So point to point connection if you are going to use means the primary actor should be there, secondary actor should also be there. They are going to call through the terminal such as a phone call, and this terminal should make router to the ringing. Once the ringing has been answered, they will be answering. Then it should stop ringing the connection and make the connection between the callers and terminals. Once they have finished their conversation, the call should be disconnected. And exception for the events will be if the call has been disconnected or hang up before the ringing terminals has been answered. If it happens, all the ringing terminals has to stop ringing, disconnected, and ending the ring. So this is the sequence diagram. First user will be there. They have to log in. Once they have login, they will be going to the controller page. Then user they have to connect to check the password. Then user session will be there. According to that, username password will be assigned. Once it has been over, they can do the process. So this is the key factors. So documenting the behavior. So comprehensive languages. It is showing the complete behavior of the structural elements. It gives the type of documentation and defines the state formalism, and it is telling about the machine languages that will allow you to complement the structural description of the elements. This is the state machine, which is telling about how the different states of the components will be. First it will be off. Once the process is getting in, it will be on or off button will be there. On has to be done. So once it is on, it has to check whether it is engaged or not. If it is not engaged, it has to press the set button. It has to set on engaged. Once it is set engaged, it has to press the throttle button. When once it is throttle means and the process has been started, it has to wait till then. Documenting quality attributes. So here the rationale will explain the choice. Architectural element will provide the service. Quality attributes often impose a language. And then architecture documentation having the mapping and the requirements show the how the requirements. And every quality attribute requirement will have a constituency of the stakeholders. And documenting the architecture that change faster than you can document them. So architectures can change the documentation before it has been documented. So the changes are runtime or a high frequency release. Okay, and it can change faster than the documentation cycle. So they will wait until a new architecture is produced. So in this case, document what is true for all the version of the system, and they have to document the ways an architecture is allowed to change it. It is telling about documenting in an agile development project. If it is going to be agile development project, we can adopt a new standard or a template standard design decisions, and we can plot the document view. Highly has a strongly identified stakeholder consistency, and it should have the sections about the template for a view and information beyond views. Okay, information becomes available, and it will not worry about creating an architectural design document than the finger grained design document, and it doesn't feel about obliged or fill up sections of the template, certainly not all once. Next, agile teams sometimes make models in a brief discussions by the whiteboard. So these are all the things we studied today. So the remaining thing we will study in the next class. So today we learned about documenting the software architecture. So write the notes clearly, and if you have any doubt you can text. Thank you.